Hello everyone and welcome to the Transform You video coaching series. I am your host Cameron Makarchuk here with Transform You and reengineeryou.com, and thanks for being on this video here with me today. We're going to talk about some really great stuff. I got 3 workout myths that you're probably doing right now that are keeping you fat. So it's going to be a good idea for you to watch this video and kind of take notes and see where maybe you're falling off of, or what workout myths you're kind of falling for, so you can change your training program and get better results because of it. So over the next 15 minutes, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but in the next about 10-15 minutes, it's going to be a really short video, but we're going to talk about the 3 top myths, workout myths that are keeping you fat. So myth number 1, if you want to lose weight, you need to do some cardio. And this one kills me because it's still so prevalent, and it's just a complete backwards myth, and I have to battle it every single day with my clients, and I really wish I didn't. So I'm doing this video again, put it in there again, over and over and over again, so that you can get the benefits of it, so you can stop doing useless exercise that you don't need to be doing and cut your workout time in half and get better results because of it. So that's myth number 1 that we're going to talk about. Next, we're going to talk about the myth that if you don't feel like crap after your workout, if you don't feel like puking, or if you don't feel like falling over and vomiting and you can't walk out the door after your workouts, then you're not pushing hard enough. And that is complete bullshit. So my clients, I mean, maybe the first session that you've done, or if you're just starting a new program and you push a little bit too hard, your body's not used to it, then yeah, you will feel a little bit nauseous. You'll be pretty stiff and sore the next day. But after that first couple weeks and that first initial period, that shouldn't be like that anymore. So if it is, then something's actually wrong, and you need to take notice of that and make some changes to your training program. So we're going to talk about that in a second here too. And finally, myth number 3, this one kills me also, and it's very prevalent because of a certain DVD program that was quite popular, and the myth that you have to confuse your muscles to get better, or to get any results. And that is bullshit too, and we're going to talk about that as well. And throughout all of this, I'm going to be giving you a lot of really good tips and feedback and suggestions on how you can switch your program, your training program, and get away from these myths and do things a lot better. So you have a lot better ways to enhance your training program and get way better fat loss and body transformation results because of it. Okay? So before we get into all that though, I want to just touch on a little bit about who I am, why you should be listening to me, because that's important too. Because with all of this, I mean, kind of the overriding theme about all of this is that, you know, there's a lot of fitness professionals out there, and a lot of videos and a lot of YouTube videos, and that's why there's a lot of crap out there and a lot of misinformation, and that's why I'm doing this video right now, so that you can get the real information and not have to worry about all that garbage that's out there from everyone else. So I want to talk about just a little bit about who I am and my background, so that you can have some faith in me and some trust in me that I actually know what I'm talking about, and I'm not just one of those other guys out there that's throwing, you know, useless information at you just to sell you something. Okay, so the top 5 reasons why, you know, I might know a little bit about what I'm talking about. First of all, I have one of those fancy pieces of paper that is actually called a university degree. So I actually went to school for 4 years, studied exercise science and physiology. So, you know, I have a little bit of a background in it that way, and that kind of shows that I have actually studied this stuff, and I didn't just take, you know, some one-day certification course and all of a sudden think I'm an expert on everything. So also, I mean, this is one of the biggest ones. 8 years I've been training clients. 8 years hands-on training clients in the trenches. I hate that phrase, but, you know, hands-on with clients, doing personal training, boot camps, corporate wellness programs, everything, athlete development, fat loss. I mean, you name it, I've pretty much done it in the fitness industry. So 8 years I've been training personally with clients. Number 3 and 4, I mean, that should go without saying, right? So, and that just lends even more credibility to me. And number 5, the most important part of all of this, I actually have results, actual results with clients that you'll see in just 1 second here, okay? So another reason, I mean, you might want to go and take a look at some of the work that I've done in the past. So you can find that if you go to bodyshapingblueprint.com. That's kind of my blog. I read a lot of articles. Everything is pretty much fat loss related on that blog. So if you're looking to lose weight and a lot of weight, whether it's 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 150 pounds you need to lose, anything relating to fat loss, workouts, nutrition, recipes, workout videos, mindset stuff, everything is going to be at bodyshapingblueprint.com. So there's a ton of articles and videos up there, so go check that out. Boom Body Shaping Studio is my business that I own, my personal training studio that I own. It's a private fitness studio. I work mainly with clients that need to lose a lot of weight. They come to me, they've been struggling with their weight for a long time, maybe like you are right now watching this video, and they work with me for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and we get them pretty solid results. And you're going to see some of those clients here in about 2 minutes. And Re-Engineer You is probably what brought you here today, and that's kind of my newest venture, my newest website. It's a web show, Re-Engineer You, that I interview different experts from around the world with the sole purpose of helping you train better, eat better, and live better. Okay, so if you go to reengineeryou.com, it's pretty much all videos there, all video interviews, and you can check that out and watch some of those videos and improve your training, improve your eating, and improve your life. Okay. So proof, I talked about those results, right? You guys want to see proof, so let's look at it. This is one person, Joanne. If you actually go to extremefatlossblueprint.com, you can read all about Joanne's story. I have her entire story from start to finish, where she started, what she went through in the beginning, and what she did to change her body throughout her first 10 months to a year with me. And so yeah, go to extremefatlossblueprint.com and you can read her entire story and see what she did. But she came to me over 300 pounds, and in her first, I think it was about 10 months to a year, lost over 100 pounds. Just like that. So just from using some simple nutrition changes and some training strategies that I showed her and helped her implement into her life, and some very simple, nothing crazy, nothing, really restrictive, just some really simple changes that had a very big impact on her body and on her life. So she completely transformed herself. Carol, she's been another client of mine, superstar client. She came in, hadn't really done a whole lot of exercise in her life, or at least not for a long time. She started out, ground zero. Couldn't even do a modified plank. Barely could do things like that. Now, she's doing chin-ups. She's doing full body weight push-ups with ease. For solid reps, like 10, 15, 20 push-ups in a row. So. And she's lost, not to mention the weight she's lost, 57 pounds and counting. So I think it's actually more than that now. This picture was taken about 6 months ago, so she's actually lost a lot more than that now and looks, just fabulous. So she's done really, really well. Again, simple nutrition changes and training strategies that I've used with them. Tony's been awesome too. He came into me, same thing, didn't move very well, wasn't all that strong, had a lot of weight to lose. So he came in, just went in full bore, trained as hard as he could with me, ate the recommended food that I told him to eat, looked at his macronutrients, looked at how much food he was eating, and just went in all in on that. And he's lost, over 60 pounds, 63, 70 pounds now. And, and that weight, 63 pounds, that's a lot of weight, but that's not even mentioning how much stronger he is, how much muscle he's put on. He's one of my strongest clients now, by far. So very, very impressive results with Tony. And then Teresa. Teresa was with me for just a short while, but she came in, had just retired, and 4 weeks with me, lost 10 pounds. Boom, just like that. So, and she's now going into retirement stronger than ever. You can see a bicep there in the picture there, which is nice. She improved her strength, improved her fitness, and dropped 10 pounds. Just by making some nutritional changes, some training strategies, some workouts that I gave her to do, and that was it. It's not rocket science. It's just simple. You take the plan that I give you or someone gives you, and you follow it, and that's it. So that's just a very small drop in the bucket of the results that I've had with some of my clients, and you can see more pictures and videos and stuff of some of my clients at other of my websites at bodyshapingblueprint.com and at boombodyshapingstudio.com and reengineeryou.com. You can see all sorts of success stories and transformations all there. So, but without further ado, I don't want to, waste any more time talking about me. I want to get to you guys and helping you change your training so that you don't fall for any of these workout myths anymore. So the first one, the big one, cardio for fat loss, the eternal debate. This is one that I really wish would die, and I think it's slowly dying. And so let's take a look at that one right now. Why is this important? I mean, you have to understand why you're doing something. So take a good hard look at what you're doing, what training you're doing, whether it's weightlifting or circuits or running or high intensity interval training, spin classes, aerobics classes, whatever you're doing. Take a good hard look at it, and then think to yourself, is this the most efficient use of my time to get me the results that I want? Okay? And that's the problem with this long, steady state cardio. If you're trying to lose fat, if your primary goal is fat loss, and you have a lot of weight to lose, like all of my clients, they have 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 150 pounds that they want to lose. That is their primary goal. They want to get stronger and they want to move better. They want to look better, but fat loss is their primary goal. So if that is your primary goal, running is not the most efficient or effective way to do that. Running is great for a lot of things. It's got a lot of benefits. It improves your cardiovascular endurance, improves your heart health. But for fat loss, it is not going to cut it. Okay, and you might lose a little bit of weight in the beginning if you start running. A lot of that's going to be water weight. Some of it you'll be losing muscle. You're not putting on any more muscle, and you're actually lowering your metabolism, and that's very, very bad. We don't want to lower your metabolism any lower than it probably already is. So running is training your body to burn less calories over time. Because if you think about it, if you run for an hour, your body thinks to itself, okay, I'm running for an hour right now. I need to be able to conserve energy so that I can run for an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours or however long this person is going to make me run for. So it's trying to conserve energy, which is holding on to calories so that it can use those calories later on in the run. Okay? And that's what endurance training is all about. And that's the sole purpose of endurance training. So you can conserve energy and burn it at a slower pace so you can last longer in that race. Okay? So great for endurance training. For fat loss, not so good, right? So I hope you can kind of see that now and see why running isn't the greatest. Not to mention, the pounding on the pavement, the pounding on the treadmill that you're going to get of that repetitive pounding on your knees, on your hips, on your ankles, on your back, and it all translates into, overuse injuries, back pain, knee pain, hip pain. So a lot of clients that I see come in with pain, a lot of it is because they started running. They thought, well, I want to get in shape, so I'm going to start running. And then they come into me and they're like, yeah, my knees kind of hurt, my hips hurt, I kind of got this back pain going on. And I'm like, well, it's because you've been pounding on the pavement for so long. If you think about it, there's 1,500 foot strikes in a mile. So you're doing 1,500 repetitions when you're running. That is a lot of repetitions. And that's only a mile. People run for much longer than that. So think about why you're doing what you're doing. If you want to run a marathon, great. You're going to have to do some long distance running. No doubt about it. If your sole purpose is to lose fat, then focus on the things I'm going to talk about right now. And then if you want to run the marathon, then go back to that long distance running and start training for that. One goal at a time. Okay? Now, when we talk about what to do about fat loss, what to do about your training instead, you need to remember the hierarchy. And this is something I got from one of my mentors, Alan Cosgrove, and he always talks about the hierarchy of fitness. And so he always starts off strength training. That is the most important thing for fat loss that you can do. Strength training, having a solid strength training program that gets you stronger over time and helps increase that lean body mass. Okay, because that is what's going to help increase your metabolism. Putting muscle on, putting lean body mass on, increases your metabolism, okay? Then if you still have time in your schedule after that, then you can add in some metabolic training. So things like circuits, density training, complexes, things like that I talk about on the blog, on bodyshapingblueprint.com and reengineeryou.com, all things like that are all forms of metabolic training. Then if you still have some time after doing, a few sessions of those, and you still have some time left over, then we can look into adding some high intensity interval training. So sprint training, like sprint training where you're just sprinting as hard as you can for 30 seconds and then backing off for a minute. Sprint as hard as you can, 30 seconds, back off for a minute. Okay, and then after that, if you still have time, then we can add in things like yoga, Pilates, and maybe get into some moderate intensity, steady state, long distance cardio. But that's the hierarchy. So when you're looking at your schedule and how much time you have to devote to your training program, if you have 2 days a week, half an hour each day, no problem. 2 strength training days, boom, right there. That's all you're focusing on. If you have 4 days a week, then 2 strength training days, 1 metabolic training, and maybe a high intensity interval training. And then if you want to add in a couple things on the weekends, do some yoga once a week, or add in maybe some walking or something like that. But make sure you're focusing on the right things, and that right there is what you should be focusing on, and in that order. Okay. Next up, if you're not trying hard enough, if you're not puking after every workout, then you're not trying hard enough in your workouts. And this is something that got very popular and got a lot of attention because of shows like The Biggest Loser and CrossFit now. I mean, there's a lot of good things about CrossFit, but the whole kind of mentality of it and the whole illusion of it from an outsider looking in is often that you have to push so hard that you puke every workout, or that you're crawling out of the gym every time. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. And that is just completely backwards. That's not true at all. So when we talk about this, we need to think about the risk versus reward. What is the risk of what you're doing, and what is the reward of what you're doing? If the risk outweighs the reward, don't do it. It's not worth it. So the risk here is the injury risk. If you're pushing so hard that you have to crawl out of the workout, or that you're puking after the workout, you're at a much higher injury risk because you're tired, you're fatigued, you're not going to be using proper form for a lot of the exercises probably, and you have a much higher potential of getting hurt. Your recovery between training sessions is going to be greatly limited also, because you need to give your body time to recover between the workouts. What I always tell my clients is that what we do when we train it's like digging a hole. So when we come in and we work out, we train hard, we're digging a hole in the muscles. Essentially, we're breaking the muscles down, we're digging a hole. If we don't give enough time between the workouts to fill that hole back in, then you're just going to dig, and we start digging again, you're just going to keep digging and digging and digging and digging, and it's never going to fill back in any stronger. So we need to have that recovery time in between the workouts to let your body recover so you feel good, you can come back, you're stronger, you can push hard in the workout and get better and perform better because of it. The cortisol release, I mean, when you're going for an extended period of time, when you're training hard or trying to train hard at a high intensity for more than about 20 to 30 minutes, your body starts to release a lot more cortisol. And cortisol is a stress hormone, and that's bad because cortisol holds on to fat. It's just what happens when a lot of cortisol gets released. You hold on to more fat, and it doesn't let it go, and that's bad. We don't want that. So we try to keep the workouts to about 20 to 30 minutes at a high intensity, so that your body doesn't start releasing that stress hormone, okay? Or not too much of it anyways. A little bit of it is okay, but you don't want too much of it. And also, if you're training for longer than 30 minutes and you're trying to keep up a high intensity, like a high intensity metabolic workout, you cannot sustain a high intensity that you need for metabolic fat burning workouts that you need to in an hour. You just can't sustain it. It's impossible. So that's why you keep it short, 25, 30 minutes, very high intensity, slam it hard, and you're done. Okay? But you got to be pushing at that high intensity. All right? So if we're looking at building your schedule, this is what we would do. We would do, and this is what I was saying before, you go back to the hierarchy. 2 to 3 strength training sessions, 1 to 2 metabolic training sessions, 1 to 2 high intensity interval training. Keep your workouts to about 20 to 30 minutes max. The strength training, you can go a little bit longer depending on what type of workout you're doing. If you have a little bit of rest time in between, you're doing more of a traditional kind of strength building workout, then yeah, it's going to be maybe 45 minutes. But the metabolic training for sure, any type of circuits you're doing, complexes, density training, things like that, should never be more than 20 to 25 minutes because you can't sustain the type of intensity you need to get the fat burning benefits from it. Okay, and the high intensity interval training, that can be done in the same day as the strength training. So you have a strength training workout in the morning, you do some sprint training in the afternoon, right? Something like that. That would be okay. And you're going to alternate 3 to 4 days a week. You don't want to go any more than that. If you have a 3 to 4 day a week program, that's pretty solid. And if you want to do maybe some yoga or maybe some walking on the weekends, fine, go for it. But don't try to, if you're looking for fat loss, don't try to strength train more than 3 to 4 times a week because you're just going to start running yourself down and you're going to keep digging that hole and you're never going to fill it back in. And finally, the truth about muscle confusion. Finally, this is what you need to know. You're not confusing anything. You're not confusing anyone. You cannot confuse your muscles. It's just backwards. And I wish people would stop using that term muscle confusion because it's impossible to confuse your muscles. You just can't. It's just so silly of a concept. But the whole thing behind this is that you're confusing your muscles. You're doing different workouts every day. Nothing's the same. You're always doing something different. There's no repetition. There's all this variety and blah, 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 blah. But if you don't have that, even just a little bit of repetition, like you come back and do that same workout the following week or in a week and a half or whatever the rotation is, how are you tracking your progress? How are you tracking your strength gains? How are you tracking that? You can't because you have no gauge. You have no way to track that. If you go and you're doing, one workout on Monday and then you don't do that same workout again until 3 months from now, how the hell are you going to know what progress you've made? Like, you can't. It's impossible. Like, it completely flies in the face of the whole progressive overload concept, which is the backbone of a strength training program. That's the most fundamental piece of strength training is progressive overload. Coming back to a workout and increasing the weight slowly, increasing the weight slowly, increasing the reps slowly, increasing the weight so you're doing more weight, more weight, more weight, or more volume. More of something. You're always trying to push a little bit more each time you come back to that workout. But that's impossible to do if your workouts and training program is so random that you never come back to that workout. It's just impossible. You can't do it. So how are you going to track it? So what you need to do instead, focus on progressive program design. So, with phases of programs. So when I design my programs for my clients, I design them in 3 to 6 week phases. So we'll work on a specific program for about 3 to 6 weeks, and then we'll change it up. We'll work on that next one for 3 to 6 weeks, and we'll change it up again. 3 to 6 weeks there, change it up again. Okay, but we have that 3 to 6 weeks to work on those movements, work on those exercises, and that rep range before we move into the next phase. Okay, and then also you need to think about how you're moving forward. What's the progression that you're and the periodization that you're using between your phases. So how are you moving from phase 1 to phase 2 so that phase 2 builds on phase 1? And this is getting pretty advanced. You guys don't need to worry about this because you're going to have a trainer, you're going to have a coach, you're going to have someone like me giving you a program to do. But this is why this is important. And this is why you need to think about this when you keep jumping from program to program to program, from coach to coach to coach. One day you're doing CrossFit, one day you're doing P90X, one day you're doing something else, and one day you're running for 10 miles a day. And, stop. Just stop. Take a program, get a coach, get a mentor that you can work with, that you believe in, that you trust, and go all in. If that's me, great. And I hope it is me because I hope I can help you and I hope I can get through with you with this stuff, with this information. If it's not me, then that's okay too. As long as you find someone and you stick with something. That's consistency is the key here. Okay? So when we're doing that, we need that at least a little bit of repetition within each phase, within each program. Okay? So something should always be increasing, whether it's weight, volume, reps, the level of exercise you're doing, something is improving in that phase, okay? Within the 3 to 6 weeks of that phase. Then we move into phase 2, we focus on something completely different, and that's where you get that muscle confusion. But it's actually periodization of, of your program, okay? So I hope that was informative to you. I hope you got a lot out of that. It was just a very quick overview of everything. But those are the 3 things that I really hate seeing with people in their training programs, and 3 workout myths that are really holding people back and keeping them fat. It really, really is. So go back and watch this video again if you need to. But coming up next, we have the body transformation system that your personal trainer does not want you to know about. And this is something really special to me, and I'm really excited to share this with you. So make sure you don't miss this video. And there's an email box either up here or down below this video. So make sure you put your email address in that box if you haven't done so already, so that you don't miss this next video, because it's going to be good. There's going to be a lot of information coming to that, and it's going to be a complete blueprint for your new body transformation system and your program. Okay, so make sure you don't miss that. Now, before that, though, I just want to mention one quick thing. And this can have a very big impact on your body transformation over the next 4 to 6 months or over the next year. So I'm opening up 15 spots in my Transform You Premium Body Transformation Coaching Program, where you're going to get hands-on coaching directly from me. You're going to work directly with me, hands-on with me, every step of the way. Okay. Now this is a premium level coaching program, and I understand this isn't going to be a good fit for everyone. Okay. But if you'd like, I'm opening up my schedule to do some free strategy calls with people. So anyone that applies after these videos, I'm doing my schedule's open. I'm doing some free strategy calls. Okay, it doesn't cost anything. I usually charge $97 for these calls and assessments and consultations, but you're watching this video, I want to help you, so I'm going to waive the fee for right now. So a free strategy call. We'll just talk about you. We'll talk about where you're starting off, what you're looking for, some history on you, your exercise, your habits, things like that. And if the Transform You program is going to be a good fit for you, then great, we can take that next step. And if not, that's okay too. But it's just a way for you to get some information and some direction on where you should go next. Okay, so if that's something you want to learn more about, or you're interested in that, click on the big button down below that says Next Step. It should be a yellow button with a circle around it or something. It'll say I'm ready or Next Step or something right below. Or go to reengineeryou.com/coaching. Okay, that'll take you to the page also where you can schedule your free coaching call or your free strategy call, and you can find out a little bit more about the Transform You program. Okay, so that's it. Now I understand maybe you're not quite ready for something that elaborate, that premium. Maybe you're not ready to take that big step in. That's okay. Everyone has their pace. Everyone has their process they go through, and that's why I'm doing this free video coaching series. And that's why there's still one more video coming up. So watch your email inbox for the video coming up here, and that'll be coming out in the next couple days here for you. Okay, so make sure you don't miss that. Sign up in the email box below. And before that, until you get that email from me with that new video, I want your help for a second. What did I leave out here? Leave a comment below with the workout myth that you wish would just stop. Something that you're sick of seeing all over the place, and something that you wish would just stop. So leave that below, and then click the like, share, and tweet buttons below this too, so that we can share this video and get it out to the world and get this information out there so people stop making these mistakes and start training better, eating better, and living better. Okay? That's it for today. And remember, to get the most out of your life, you need to train hard, eat well, and live awesome. I'll see you on the other side.